Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and a very warm and healthy good morning to all those who are listening to me. Hope you're doing great. The treasure of the knowledge never ends, so welcome again to another class of social studies where we are about to learn something new and hopefully interesting. So let's move towards today's lecture and here we go. Dear kids, there was a man, Thomas Jefferson. He was the third president of US and he said that I prefer dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery. That indicates freedom is something that is more and more important and that is really useful to live a life in a good way. And it is said that freedom is the oxygen of the soul. That indicates freedom is something much more important. But what we are discussing freedom here, let's see. Because it is really important to know that how we got freedom. Before 1947, the piece of land called as Indian subcontinent, there was no partition between India and Pakistan. Then in 1947, in August, when after 300 years in India, the British finally left and the subcontinent was partitioned into two independent nation states, Pakistan and India. The piece of land with Hindu majority became India and the piece of land in Muslim majority became the Pakistan. This was very crucial time and what happened at the time of independence and what happened after independence, this is what we are going to learn. The name of the chapter which we are going to learn in today's class, that is Pakistan after independence. Pakistan after independence, and this is our chapter number 5 and it is on page number 82 of your social studies book. Dear kids, here comes the things which we are going to learn in this chapter, and these include what happens on 14th of August, why do we celebrate 14th August, problems during separation of India and Pakistan, problems faced by Pakistan after separation, Kashmir issue, East Pakistan issue, few things that make Pakistan embarrassed, and few things that make Pakistan feel proud, and our national hero Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, some of the things we are going to learn from his life. So these all are the things which we will be learning in this chapter, and we are going to start from the first bit, and that is what happens on 14th August. So here we go. Every one of you knows that what happens on 14th of August. It is the day of independence. Every year we celebrate 14th August with great joy and excitement. And we illuminate our houses, markets, buildings and streets. We hoist our national flag and we sing national songs. Dear kids, here is another easy question, that is why do we celebrate 14th August? This is really easy. 14th August, we celebrate 14th August because this is the Independence Day of Pakistan. And Pakistan appeared on the map of the world on 14th of August. As we definitely know that our elders achieved this victory after a long struggle and great sacrifices, as It was not easy at all to get a separate homeland, and this was done after a lot of sacrifices and great struggle. Here are some of the problems faced by Pakistan during separation, and these include, that it is thought to be the largest migration of people seen in the world ever. And because Muslims had to leave India and Hindus and Sikhs had to leave Pakistan. So the Muslims who reached Pakistan, they were homeless, they were jobless, and likewise Hindus and Sikhs who reached India, they were also homeless and jobless. Here is a view from a newspaper of that time where it is written 6 lakhs murders in 7 days. So you can think that how biggest issue it was. In 1947, it was thought by many people that Pakistan could not survive for more than 2 to 3 years. But a half century has gone and Pakistan is still alive on the map of the world by the grace of Allah. Dear kids, here are problems after separation, from which one of the biggest problem was settlement of refugees. The people who reached India and the people who reached Pakistan, they were homeless and they were jobless. If we talk about the industrial revolution, only few industries were there for offering the jobs, and agriculture was at its lowest. Here you can observe it. Communication was in a bad state, and only few educational institutions were there to offer the education to children. So many of the problems were faced by Pakistan, from which the common problems are listed in front of you.
India is to be broken apart, carved into two halves. The Union of India and the Dominion of Pakistan, which consists of half of the Punjab in the west and half of Bengal in the east, areas with predominantly Muslim populations. The announcement sparks widespread panic and speculation. Which parts of Punjab and Bengal would go to Pakistan and which would remain Indian? The fear psychosis created between Hindus, Muslims and Sikhs lead to violence and bloodshed as they try to protect their own territories. People start moving even before the actual partition is formally announced. The British barrister Sir Cyril Radcliffe, entrusted with the job of drawing the lines of partition, submits his report to Mountbatten. Mountbatten chooses to keep the report a secret until after independence, a decision that will go down in history as a colossal mistake. Quaid-e-Azam Jinnah declares Pakistan independent, leading the celebrations in Karachi on the 14th of August 1947. The next day, it was India that declared independence from the British Crown in front of thousands of exhilarated people. Reveals the borderlines. The architects of their nations, Nehru and Jinnah, possibly never imagined the extent of the horror that was to come.
After the separation of Pakistan, there were many issues faced by Pakistan from which we have learned many of the problems, and now here are some of the major problems after separation. If we talk generally, so there were many issues regarding geographical problems, refugees and intercommunal violence, political problems, economic problems, the division of financial and military assets, the canal system, social problems. But according to your book, we are going to discuss Kashmir issue, death of Quaid-e-Azam, and East Pakistan issue. These issues will be discussed in detail in your next class. And here we are going to wind up our lecture, today's lecture, and what kind of things we have learned. We have seen that how we got independence, and before independence how the piece of land named as subcontinent used to look like, and there were many issues faced by Pakistan at the time of independence and after independence as well. Plus, we have learned that what do we do on the day of our independence and how do we celebrate it. So, thank you so much. What you have to do, you have to read your book, you have to underline the important lines, you can highlight them. And if you have any query or any confusion, you can ask me via comment on Google Classroom. So, take care. Bye.